Well, good day, and welcome to Steve's Kitchen, where cooking lean is supreme. And I'm your host, Mr. Weight Loss himself, Steve Edwards, and welcome to my kitchen. And today I've got a recipe for you. We're going to do my own version of SpaghettiOs with ground turkey. So instead of using beef and instead of using hot dogs, we're going to use some extra lean ground turkey meat. And then this is so simple. You see all the ingredients lined up here. We've got some tomato sauce. You could use your favorite blend, whatever you prefer. Some basil, garlic, oregano, diced tomatoes. You could use stewed tomatoes if you don't have the diced ones, but I just recommend that you kind of mush them up a little bit. And then I've got a half a small stalk, or bunch rather, I meant to say, of celery. This has been frozen. I've taken it out of the freezer, out of double bags. And I've got a white onion. You could use purple if you don't have white, that would be preferred, and if you have neither one of those, you could substitute a yellow onion just as well. Then I've also got, I'm going to do this in the slow cooker, so I'm going to fire it up on high, and I'm going to take some non-stick, and this is canola. You could use any kind of non-stick, non-fat spray, and just get the edges just ever so lightly. And we'll put that aside. Then we've got our large rings. You could use any brand is fine, but you just get the little round rings. Those are what get synonymous with SpaghettiOs. And then we're going to use our Italian profile flavors, and that would include red bell pepper flakes, fresh or dried oregano. You'd use fennel seed, and then I've got some other dried herbs here: parsley, basil, and tarragon for the addition and the meat as well as needed. And also there's one other ingredient I need to pull from my pantry here, and I'm looking for it right now. Do I have it up there already? I'm looking for garlic. You always use, if you don't have fresh garlic, you use a little bit of garlic powder, not salt, but powder. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the celery going. We're going to put the celery in. And you know what's great about this recipe? It will serve up to 6 servings. So if you've got a family, you know, you could save it that way. Or I'm kind of a bigger meat eater. I'll divide it into like 4 heaping servings. And that's about right. You have about 4 ounces of meat per serving. You've got a pound here. You divide that by 4. But you're going to have enough sauce and other ingredients for at least 6 servings. So, you know, it divides out. And so we're just going to put this in the pot here, and if you can break it up, if you have the time, and some fresh celery. This was once fresh. I froze it 2 weeks ago. You just take half the bunch, so what is that, maybe 5 stalks, and you just, you know, chop it up. But I'm just trying to save you the time. You know how to chop celery. You don't need me to demonstrate that. However, I will chop up an onion here in front of you. We're just going to take the ends off of it and clean up our cutting board here of any type of debris here from it. And I'm going to peel off the outside layer because we don't need that. And what I like to do is, you can cut your onions any way you want. There's no special way to do it. I just prefer, I don't like the skins and I don't like the outer layer of it. So anyway, here we are, and I'm just going to make these thin chops all the way down. It doesn't matter how sloppy you are, just watch your fingers. And there's usually always a hard little heart in the middle here. We'll pop that out. And all we want to do is just dice these up as you know, relatively fine. You know, because after all, we're going to have the little tiny noodles, so you don't want this coarse. So we're just going to work after this. Just using a rocking technique here, which is fast. You still want to get too carried away. You see a few of the pieces go flying. And so, you know, all we're going to do is just keep going after this as I talk to you. And, you know, eventually we'll have a pile of nicely finely chopped white onion. And the beauty about this spaghetti-o dish is that you can stretch it a long ways too. And you know, so if you're on a budget, you know, you could get probably 8 servings on it just by adding a little bit more water and a little bit more sauce. You could add more meat. And, you know, even if, you know, you have some leftover turkey meat from Thanksgiving or the holiday, and, you know, instead of the ground meat, if that's pre-cooked, as long as the skin's off it so it's lean, you could chop that up into small pieces and add like a pound into this mixture that we're making with the celery and the onion. And if you have green pepper, kids usually love this dish the way I'm making it now, but some won't with the green pepper. I know when I was a little kid, 8, 9 years old, and I made homemade SpaghettiOs, it just didn't fly very well with the green pepper with it. But for you adults there, you probably love green pepper with a dish like this. You're welcome to chop up. I would use maybe a half of a good sized green pepper and chop that up so you end up with about the same size of a pile I have here of chopped green bell. Now look at how nice this just turned out. This is a whole onion here, as you saw, and we stripped off the outside layer, and I think we're good here. You can just add this in. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty about cooking, is you know, you're not following a recipe 100%, you know, because the beauty of cooking is it's an imperfect science. And, you know, if you're baking, you have to get things right, because things will go wrong if you don't. But with lean cooking here, the whole idea is that you have some leeway and be flexible and be open to trying new things, because that's the spice of life. If you sit and always do the same thing all the time, you never grow, you never learn. You're stuck. You're being too conservative. You need to have some liberal-minded ideas and attitudes towards life, so that way you can move forward and always grow. And of course, making homemade SpaghettiOs is easy and one of those ideas. So now we're going to get some water out of the fridge. I've got some filtered water here, and I'm going to measure out about 2 cups in a measuring cup here. I just pull right out of my cupboards there. And we're going to measure out, I would say 2 cups would be reasonable. Let's see. 2 cups of filtered water. Okay. And we're going to set this aside for now. And what I want to do now is I want to get a bay leaf. That was the other thing too. See, I have traumatic brain injury, and I do these videos because I have such a passion and just love to cook and love to teach people about lean cooking, because we're being duped by our mainstream society and social media and so forth about what to eat and about what to do to lose and manage our weight. And you see, I was obese from 1969 all the way till 1989, and then I've been lean ever since. How did I do that? By doing lean cooking like I'm doing here with you now. And so I eat all my favorite things that I loved as a child. The difference is it's not deep fried, it's not done in butter, cream, or oil. Instead, I found substitutes on how to make all this stuff lean. And that's what we're doing today here. And so with that, we're going to prepare some meat next. And I've got this 99%, that's what you want to get, fat-free turkey. And you want to take and you want to get the liner out of there, hopefully. And discard that. And we can spice this up right here and right now, right in the package here. And we're going to use just a little bit of conventional black pepper and some sea salt just for basic flavor. Then we're going to take and we're going to put some whole oregano that's dried and just sprinkle that over the top. We're going to take some, I want to make this go quicker, so we're going to take some pepper flake and we're going to spice that up. And so we have this Italian sausage profile for flavor. Now think about this, we're making our extra lean ground turkey taste like Italian sausage. And that's the beauty of this dish. Now what you want to do is you're going to want to take the liner out again here and discard that and double take, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm taking half of it and stacking it on the other half here. And I'm going to kind of work that in here. I'm going to kind of make almost like 4 meatballs. There. And that's just going to pack the flavors together. And I could just cook it that way. It'd probably be best that I do, and then break them apart as I go. Or, you know, you could just have 4 servings and give everybody a meatball, I suppose. But you will have more than 4 servings when it comes to the sauce on this. I'm going to probably break this up, I think, into 8 meatballs is what I think I ought to do here. Maybe more. I mean, you can just put this in there, let it cook. You can do whatever you want, but I think I decided I'm going to have SpaghettiOs with little mini meatballs here, so we just change up the recipe as we go here. See, that's the beauty. You could just lay this in there and let it cook and then break it up with a spatula. You can, you know, make these little mini meatballs, if you will, here. And the thing is once they're cooked, you can break them up. But the main thing is you want to power pack the flavors with all of this together, so that you've got, got one that's kind of big there, that's all right. It doesn't matter. The main thing is whether you got, you know, 4 of these, 8 of these, 10, 12. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. And so I've got a pile of meatballs here. They're not perfect. They don't have to be. Because it'll get broke apart later anyway. We're just trying to get this so that it cooks decently and correctly. Okay, now we're going to just put these right on top. You see that? I've got, let's see, 4. Okay, I've got about a dozen meatballs here. So I'm going to pop those in. And we're going to put them in our water. Keep in mind, I'm heating this on high now. Okay? Then we're going to put a little bit of garlic powder on top of the the meat, just a very, very light amount. Okay, and I think we can put that aside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our diced tomatoes and we're going to open them up and we're going to pour them on top. Whoop, on top. Here we go. Keeping in mind perfection is the enemy in the kitchen. What you want to do is always be creative and never lose that. Let's see, we need something to pop this open here. There we go. Okay, so we've got our diced tomatoes. We're going to pour those on top of the meat. Keeping in mind we've already got our celery, onion, 2 to 2.5 cups, depending on how far you want to stretch this, of water. We've got our bay leaf. We've got our spiced meat. Super simple, right? Just want to make sure we get every last drop of that wonderful tomato stuff there. Okay, then what we're going to do is there's a couple of ways we could do it. If you're going to go to work and leave it for 8-9 hours, you're going to turn this down on low as soon as it's all put together. And you can come home and you can cook your noodles and add them later. And when you do that, you could add your sauce at that time. However, if, the other alternative would be you could sit here and just add this now. And so for simplicity, we're going to add this now. And so this will cook down with the water and all the ingredients. Everything will just break down. And this is a wonderful dish because it's so easy. It's just celery, onion, meat, a little bit of spice. And so you can lose weight here and at the same time have everything taste great. And you can manage your weight. You can help to increase your energy and vitality just by doing everything fresh. Now, the only thing is doing your own tomato sauce takes an incredible amount of time and labor. And I'm single. Maybe you're a person who works and has kids and don't have time to make your own tomato sauce. And so that's where it's handy to go to like the dollar store and get one of these for like 50 cents or $1, depending on what kind of deal they've got, or your discount, family discount type place, wherever. And so now all we've got to do is put our final spices. And what I would do is I would add a little bit of dried tarragon. We're probably talking like, I don't know, a 1/4 teaspoon or something by the time you shake this out of here. 1/4 teaspoon maybe. And some basil, even though we've got a little bit of basil in with the tomato, but your tomatoes might just be straight up crushed tomatoes or stewed or diced tomatoes. Any of those will work fine. The main thing is you have some type of tomato, you have celery, onion. If you want to add extra green pepper, we did not demonstrate that here today. It's something kids usually don't like, but for you big kids, again, adding the extra green pepper would be another option. And so our final ingredient is the dried parsley. We're going to hit that more heavily. You probably have maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley. And so now all we've got to do is cook. I'm going to do about a cup of large rings. And that will make more than 4 servings. You'll probably have 6. And what I do oftentimes is add more ground turkey spiced up with the same Italian sausage profile. And that is the fennel seed, the red bell pepper flake, and the oregano. And when you put those flavors together with just a hint of garlic powder, you end up with some wonderful Italian sausage-like flavors. It's like having a pizza type flavor almost, only it's instead of having the fats from Italian sausage or pepperoni, instead we're doing it lean here, right in Steve's kitchen, where cooking lean is supreme. And I want you to remember that, because I lost an incredible 88 pounds in 8 months between roughly August 1st, 1988 and to March 1st of 89. And so that's 88 pounds in 8 months. And I've been teaching and sharing my weight loss success with audiences all across the Twin Cities here. And so what I want to do now is we're just going to, we probably could get a spoon here going, and we could just stir this a little bit. And what will happen is that celery will break down, and the onions and the tomatoes, and we're just stirring this on the top without disturbing the meat. And so this will break down, and what I recommend is you keep this about an hour on high, and then you turn it to low, and then you can go to work, go work out, go do whatever for like 8 hours and come back. And then in our second part 2 of our homemade extra lean SpaghettiOs here, we will cook this for you, and then we'll demonstrate and taste it afterwards. And so until we see part 2 here, I want to thank you for joining me in Steve's Kitchen, where you know cooking lean is supreme. And like I said, once this is broken down throughout the entire day in our slow cooker, we will cook you some SpaghettiO rings, and we will add them. And then in part 3, which I invite you to tune in, we will taste them. And so until next time, I hope you like my video and give me a thumbs up, and be sure to check the little bell in the corner if you're watching me on the internet or on YouTube, so that way you can see more of my videos. And so until next time, you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.